In this video, I'm going to go ahead and show you two tips in order for you to identify the correct factors. So if you're trying to learn how to factor, this is not the video for you, and you should refer to one of my other videos. So let's go ahead and get started. Now, there's two different cases that you want to be aware of, and they're very, very straightforward for you to find. So the first method is if the middle number is bigger than your last number, I guarantee you your factors are always one in itself. So this is a very, very helpful way of thinking because when you factor, and you're going to factor a ton here, you're going to notice almost every single time the number in the middle is never bigger than the number all the way to the right. So if you ever find yourself in the situation of, oh, my middle number is bigger than my last number, your factors are just the number all the way at the end, including its sign, and then 1. And then you have your factors. Very easy, very simple, doesn't happen very often, but it's going to save you a ton of time. Now, for the second scenario, x squared minus 2x minus 8. So this one is going to be used much more often because a lot of factors will include one negative number and one positive number. So the rule for this one is if the last number is negative, the middle numbers are going to show you the difference between the factors. So I know in my mind, and let's not worry about the sign for now, I know my factors must be a distance of 2 from each other. So if I start to think of, factors of 8, which could be 1 and 8, but I would think to myself, 1 and 8 aren't a distance of 2 apart. So that's probably not going to work. I'm not even going to entertain that. You would eventually find that 4 and 2 would be the factors that you would look to find. And since my number is negative, my larger number is going to be the one that has the minus sign, and the smaller number is going to be the one that has the plus sign. And this one is the more helpful tip between the two. And let's go ahead and go over a couple examples to use these because you're going to find that more often than not, you're going to come across scenarios where the numbers get very big, and sometimes it's just really helpful to have some strategies in order to make your life a little bit easier. So if I give you the equation x squared plus 20x plus 19, you want to ask yourself, what multiplies to 19 and adds to 20? Well, if I notice that I have a positive 20 and this number is bigger than 19, I can automatically assume that the factors are 19 and 1. And let's say, for example, that I gave you x squared minus 20x plus 19. Well, even though this is a negative and this is a positive, it doesn't change a thing. The middle number is still bigger than my last number. So my factors are still 19 and 1, but the only difference is these two numbers are negative instead of positive. Now, what about we go over the case where we are now going to have one positive factor and one negative factor. So x squared plus 5x minus 36. So I would want to find factors for all the numbers that multiply to 36. And I'm going to take a look at my middle number. My middle number has a 5, so I'm trying to look for any of these numbers that are about a distance of 5. So as long as you know about how far apart each of the numbers are, it's going to make your life a lot easier. So for example, I know straight out the gate 1 and 36, they are not a distance of 5 apart. And the same for 2 and 18. And then these might get a little bit harder. So I already know I need to look at one of these two. Now, specifically 4 and 9 are going to be my factors. And since 5 has a plus sign, I now know that the 9, since the bigger number, that has to be the negative value. And now I know my factors are negative 4 or x minus 4 times x plus 9. And now I saved myself a whole ton of trouble. I don't need to go through every single number in this list, and I'm able to quickly identify the faster factor between all the numbers. So to recap, there's only two things you need to be aware of. If the number in the middle is bigger than the last number, take the sign of that number and it is the last number and 1. Now, when you see the last number being negative, then the number in the middle is going to tell you the difference between your two factors. So you want to list out your factors, and that will clue you in on which factors you want to start thinking about versus other factors that you do not want to stop thinking about.